for power. The house sees every deal within this town. Behind the gangs and the walls, keeping a close eye on all old secrets buried in the underground. To dip the odds and break the game, deal another hand and play. Every card a shift of circumstance. Let every better stake their claim. Deal another hand and play. Stack the deck, I'm letting nothing fall to chance. Lumbering across the west, ruined treasures repossessed. Resurrect the old soul of America. Laws and labor structures tight, memories of faded might. Resurrect the old soul of America. And the bear is rolling out across the west. And the bear is rolling out across the west. Shadows loom, all go soon to war. From the chaos comes form an order, from the many comes the one. Scour the east, round upon the borders, come to crush and overrun. Into the bull, gouge out the weak, tongue of tyrant at the core. Force of ancient, strike down the meek, raise the flags, the banners of war. The banners of war. So dip the odds and break the game. Deal another hand and play. Every card a shift of circumstance. Let every better stake their claim. Deal another hand and play. Stack the deck, I'm letting nothing fall to chance. Someday the change will come. Scattered strays who lost their meaning, brotherhoods who hide and hoard, followers of help and healing, the addicted, lost and scorned, the secluded rumbling thunder, and the spite of prison bars, and the vengeful lies of wealth run dry, that watch me from afar. Someday the change will come and watch the doubt away.
Good morning, friends, and welcome to another painting stream. Hello, I'm Andrew, and also known as Thanatos here in the internet, and this is my painting stream, where every morning, well, some mornings I get online and I paint minis. And if you have been following me for the last month, you have seen my progression with our little friend Bellicor there. He's slowly coming together. He's getting there. It's been a process. This is by far the most ambitious model I have ever worked on. So it's definitely been an adventure, and I'm having a wonderful time. I hope you folks are enjoying watching the progress. Maybe today I'll be attaching his wings to him, but we've got a little bit of work to do before I can get to that step. I need to paint the inside, or I need to do a wash on the inside of his left wing, because I did a wash on the inside of his right wing, and it looks pretty good. I need to paint the fingers on the backs of both wings. And I think we're going to spend some time today working on the chains that end up glued to the wings. I'm doing them as a separate piece so that I can get, back sides and insides. I had a whole process in mind here, which is why I did not glue the chains on prior to doing any of this. So, yeah, let's actually start there. I'm going to dive right into it. Remember, I am giving this Be'lakor away as part of my ExtraLife fundraiser. If you go to Battleground Games and Hobbies' ExtraLife page, you can donate there, or you can now donate in the Abington location. So if you don't feel like donating online, you can go into Abington and donate cash. Let's pop. If you're watching this in the VOD, or you're in my audience right now, there's a link to ExtraLife in the VOD. There will be links in the YouTube archive, but sadly it'll probably be too late by the time you see this on the YouTube archive to pick this Be'lakor model up. Because the YouTube archive, I'm going to start posting it today, but if you've made it to this video, you've watched quite a lot very fast, and I'm rather impressed. Anyhow, let me... I'm just bringing up my channel here so that I have chat on my phone. There we go. And let's grab the sprue that has those chains and figure out what we're putting where. So if we go over to Zoom Cam. Hey chat, welcome to Zoom Cam. So here's what we most recently did in terms of building Be'lakor, which was, it's all very washed out. Yeah, it's a little better. This is attaching the little talons to the wings. So the next step in the instructions is attach the chains to the wings, and there are two options for the chains. The blue option, which is the Age of Sigmar option, and the green option is the 40k option, because it's got a Space Marine helmet hanging from one of the chains. We're going with the blue option because I figure skulls are appropriate in either world. There's nothing, I mean, this one has like the laurel of a Space Marine. You can't see it because it's so washed out. Or the sort of crown of a Stormcast. But I figure either one is appropriate. And that one goes, okay. So the thing I'm going to have the most trouble with here is keeping track of which piece goes where. Not really any easy way to do it. What is my order of operations here? Should I paint the fingers on this wing first? No, because I need to prime these chains. So I'm going to snip the chains, and we'll just try to keep them organized, sort of where they should go on the wings. So on the right wing, which is our left, there's going to be chain numbers 69, 70, and 71. just have to find them on the sprue here. There's 72. 73, which we're not using. There's 70. There's 71. So I need to trim these, and I need to prime them. I may not get these chains onto the wings until tomorrow, but if I can at least get them primed and ready for, so that was, and this is 69. Yeah. And they each have, the sprue contacts need to be cleaned up a little bit. So to prime them, I'm going to use brush on primer. That way I can leave the contact points blank. You may recall that when I was priming the Bellicor wings, I used silly putty to mask the contact points. So I have bare plastic on the wings where these pieces are going to be attaching. So we'll use brush on primer, prime these black, and leave the contact points blank so that we get a good bond with the plastic glue. So what I need now is sort of a system for myself to keep track of what goes where. I mean, maybe it'll be obvious when I go to attach them to the wings, but better to be prepped. Vacuum in here when I'm done. There's going to be a lot of little sprue dusty bits. So Chad, if you are watching this live, I will remind you that today is Tuesday, November 2nd. It is an election day. And I realize my reach is not very extensive. I have a reach of about 2 people. But I hope that those 2 people will maybe communicate to 2 other people and everybody will be reminded that today is election day and there's cool things to vote for. Here in Quincy, where I live, in Quincy, Massachusetts, primarily we're voting for school board, which might sound not too terribly exciting, but if you've been following politics lately, school board is actually kind of important these days because there's people trying to mess with our education system. So, yeah, school board is actually an impactful thing you can vote for. And if you happen to be in Boston, you get to vote for mayor. You're going to elect your first female woman of color is going to be elected mayor of Boston for the first time ever. That's exciting. So go Boston. Regardless of which candidate wins, it's going to be the first woman of color mayor of Boston. And of course, if you happen to be in New Jersey or Virginia, you get to vote for governor. I'm trying not to stress about that. I think maybe one person I know in Virginia, and I don't know, maybe I know somebody in New Jersey? I'm not sure. But I hope those people are voting. Go vote, chat. Nothing for you to vote for? Well, I'm sorry. That's uneventful. Alright, so these chains are going on the right wing, which is this wing here. And where they go is chain 70, which is this one, goes here, like that. No. No, I had it right the first time. Chain 70 goes there. Chain 71, which is the one with the 2 loops, goes here. Chain 69 goes here. Okay. I'm just going to lay those out roughly off camera, roughly in the locations they're going to end up in. And we're going to try and, when I do anything with them, put them back in those rough locations. Let's look at the other side. There you go. Jeff and Marie are in Jersey. On the other side, we've got 84, which is just a tiny little chain, 83 and 82. Three. 82 is an exciting one. Okay. check out 82, chat. It's got two big chains that hang there. Once I've got these all trimmed out, I can apply some black primer to them, and then while they dry, we'll work on the fingers and stuff for the wings. Got some washes in there and some more base coating. Definitely feels like we're getting close on this model though, doesn't it? We're almost to last looks. Almost to the highlighting and shading portion of the model, of which there's going to be more than usual because obviously it's a very large model. So there's that contact point, that contact point. There's one on the side of this skull here. That one. There. Good. Some of these areas I'm not going to be able to paint until I get them glued on the model, because I don't know what they're in contact with exactly. I suspect that they're in contact with the fingers in most cases, but I need to get them attached to the wing to know exactly what color I'm going to want to paint them. Dang it. This little bit here is a bit stubborn. There we go. Got it. Is it just me, or is my view really washed out today? Let's see if we can fix this a little. Whoa, boy, now it's blue. So very blue. Hopefully that's a little easier to see though. I don't know that that was an improvement. Oh well. Alright, so those go on the other wing. Just sort of orienting myself so that I know where these are going to go once they're finally attached. Two more bits. I need 72 and 85. And then we can get to priming these pieces. Boy, 72 is a pain in the butt. I'll tell you why, chat. This contact point right here has the sprue bit right smack in the middle of it. And it's a thick sprue bit. Can I trim that out without ruining the piece? Obviously want to leave as even and flat a contact point as possible for the glue to adhere to. Okay. Yeah. Finally, 85. This is the last piece I am snipping off of a sprue for Bellacore. I'll bring these sprues into work and toss them in the take a piece, leave a piece bin. Because there are all the alternate pieces there, alternate face for Bellacore, things like that. So people can go through and maybe get some pieces off of those for kit bashing. As a sort of fun side project, speaking of the take a piece, leave a piece, we've got a few spare bits at the Abington location that I've been thinking about building and painting just as like giveaways. A couple of Space Marine demo pieces that are just sitting around, have no home. Alright. That is is all of those. Now, let's prime them. A wet palette. Oof. I'm going to be getting some paint on my fingers now. Using my Vallejo pot of black primer, surface primer. There's a lot less paint than there used to be in this thing. Have to see if they've made any more of that. Vallejo has started being able to bring new paints into the US. For anybody unfamiliar, Vallejo. Why is it so blue? Hang on. That's a little better. Vallejo is a Spanish company that manufactures paints, and there has been some difficulty in getting their products here in the US, just due to shipping delays and such, but they've started showing up on our shores again. So I haven't checked in a little while if those pots of primer are available, but if they are, I need to get myself a new one. This one is getting low. Okay. So, how to do this? Guess I'm just gonna leave the ends unprimed. I'm just gonna brush on some brush on primer and then set these aside to dry. Figure this is easier and for pieces this small faster than masking the contact points with silly putty and spraying them. Get better coverage too. Relatively quick, I think. And then we can get back to the wings. The never-ending project of the wings. Actually, I have something I want to do with the black primer while I have it wet on my palette. So I may not actually get paint on these chains until tomorrow. But at least we've got them snipped out and primed, ready for paint to go on. Okay. That's one. So, these are the last bits of this Bellicor model. It's actually getting very close to done. That's kind of impressive after an entire month of working on this thing to be this close. Really hope this makes somebody's day, that they get to take this home after the ExtraLife marathon. If I was feeling extra and had the time, I would make a lucite case to put the whole thing in, but A, I don't have the time, and B, I don't have the materials. It really needs a display case. It's two. This one's a big one. Excuse me. Burp. So, Lobster, do you remember ages and ages ago where we were wondering how are these models produced these days? Like, how do they sculpt these pieces? I am increasingly sure that they are digitally sculpted. And the reason I say that is I am recognizing bits on this that are identical to bits that are on the base. This skull here with the hanging jaw, and there's a skull on one of these that has sort of some lanky hair hanging off of it. Those are bits that are on another of these, on the chains hanging on Bellicor's base. So they could be, you know, something that they've got a mold for, and they add that modular mold onto these. But I'm pretty sure these are digitally sculpted. And then a mold is created from that digital sculpt. Uh-oh. I didn't trim that little bit there. Hang on, chat. Because once you've sculpted something digitally, it's very easy to use that sculpt again. Oh, crap. I dug too deep. Too greedily and too deep. I was trying not to get my fingers all paint covered, and it backfired on me. It's fine. There. No, not so much paint. It's fine, chat. Everything's fine. Getting impatient, I think, with this model. I've been working on it for so long now that I'm reaching a stage where I'm like, I want it to be done. But I can't allow my impatience to make me sloppy. Especially not now that we're down to these last final little details. I want these final details to be as well done as the first details were. Consistency. It may not be the highest level of painting ever achieved by humankind. I am not that level of painter yet. But as long as the model looks consistent, that's what I'm going for. Cool. Hopefully this will please somebody who is looking to have a cool model to bring to the table. And someday I'll do another Bellicor maybe, or some other complex model, and that will be a new adventure. This is that head that has this sort of lanky hair hanging from it. The other side. Okay, that is the halfway point here on priming these. I've got 4 more to go. Sticking to my fingers because my fingers have paint on them. So apparently Amanda is trapped by a cat. That'll happen. I like this cute little just pair of hooks. There's not much to this one. The reason I want to do these separate from the model is that I want to at least get some paint on the back sides of them, which would not really be possible once they're glued onto Bellacore. Oh look, there's our friend with the lock of hair again. Definitely digital. Just copy pasting these skulls. Oop, almost dropped it. So Amanda and I got our flu shots yesterday, and Amanda got her second COVID booster. So she is very well protected now, I believe. I have not gotten my second COVID booster yet, but I don't work with as many children as she does. I have some children that come into the store, but generally they're masked and they're not there for a great period of time. It really is going to be a game changer once vaccines are available to children 5 and up. Because I think right now one of the big weaknesses in our COVID defense is children and schools and all of that. So once they're able to get vaccinated, that should plug a major gap. So annoying. I put too much paint on and I plugged one of the holes in the chain. There we go. Yeah. Tasty. We may never live in a truly post-COVID world, but it'll probably just be part of your regular annual flu vaccine. And eventually, there will be enough immunity out there that your chances of dying from COVID are significantly reduced. moving in the right direction, folks. It's been a rough year. And not everyone made it, unfortunately. But we're getting closer. Getting those second boosters, and getting children vaccinated is going to have a major impact. In the meantime, I'm just going to continue painting and doing what I can to add at least some peculiar art to the world. I've definitely been feeling very powerless lately. And this particular election day is weighing on my mind. But I'm trying not to let it preoccupy me too much. Instead, concentrate on ExtraLife, concentrate on doing some good in the world, and concentrate on games and art and things like that that make life better and more fulfilling. Do what I can to have a positive impact. Almost done. Got one more loop of chain to do after this, and then we'll return to the wings. There. Primer done on that one. Amanda, you're off on Thursday? Oh, weird. What holiday? You know what? November 2nd should be a holiday. Uh-oh. Another sprue point that I never got. Election Day should be a national holiday. Enough. Okay. Back to the priming. Well, that's an interesting coincidence. I happen to have scheduled your auto service for a holiday. I was just scheduling it for Thursday because I have Thursdays off. Okay. Last bit of priming for today. And then back to the wings. Back to the accounts. It's all my pieces primed. Back to the accounts. Okay. These are all primed. I should take paint very nicely. I want to try something with the wings. So yesterday I was working on the nebula pattern, and when I was looking at it after I was done, some of this blue is too, I don't know, the brush strokes are too obvious, I think. So I want to try, and I don't know if this is going to work. Use a little of the black primer, just add some sort of definition to these by sort of paring them back. think that's working okay. Just taking some of these more obviously brush strokey, thick bits and sort of thinning them a little. One thing about painting that I have definitely discovered is it's all about layers. You never should be afraid to add more layers to your paint job, because it's just going to make it more interesting as you add more to it. I've seen some exceptionally clean paint jobs from time to time. I'm on a couple of groups that post like master class pieces, of which this is definitely not one. But in general, I feel like adding a little bit of a few extra layers can make something a lot more vivid. I went with a sort of flamey motif, which is not really it's not appropriate for the nebula design that I was going for. But looks interesting. And just the stubbiness of the brush I was using resulted in some of these flames looking a little bit blunt-ended. So I'm just trying to trim them back a little. Get them into more whorls and points. That's a little better. Yeah, I like that a little better. Let's do the other wing. And then we'll get back to the fingers. We'll do some base coating and some washes. We're getting ever closer with these things. look at some of this here. Not great. Here. Much prettier. I think I was hurrying. Which, you know, I've still got a lot to do. So a little haste is kind of needed at this stage, but don't want things looking too rushed or irregular. It's right here. What a mess. I like that a little better. Cool. Cool. I don't know if anybody's going to see these details, but I would. And that's enough reason to spend a little time cleaning up. Okay, so pretty much done messing with that. looks cool. Let's go back to working on the fingers. So I need to do a base coat on the backs of the wings. Using our charcoal gray, there it is. This is the Bellicor skin tone we've been using. It's a little after 11 now. So interestingly, there are areas on the backs of the wings here where there are metal rings poking through the wing, which are where the chains on the front are hanging from. So he's got these sort of piercings in the wing that go around the fingers. I appreciate that some thought was put into how these chains are actually hung on him. So we'll do those, and there's one of them right here. We'll do those in a lighter tone, because that's what we're doing with the chains and stuff. Yep. And of course we'll be doing a wash on this later. Yeah. A blue wash. This is what I've been doing on all of Bellicor's flashes, this charcoal gray, but then with the blue wash over it. I think having the fingers crossing the starry sky sort of helps to sell the illusion that I'm trying to do, which is that the night sky is a gap in reality spread between across his wings. I'm wondering if I should do more with this planet. Maybe give it bands or something. Right now it's just a lot of empty space on the wing. I don't know if it reads quite right. I don't know. We'll see how we're doing for time. As we get closer to the end of the project, I can do touch-ups and extra bits. But for right now, concentrating on finishing. Trying very hard not to get paint on the wing between the fingers, because that would really ruin the illusion. That's why I'm using a fairly fine-tipped brush for this. One finger done. Oh, this is going to take a while, chat. Of course, I started on one of the longest fingers, so naturally it took me a while to get that one done. Here's a question for you, chat. When you're doing a project, do you do the easiest bit first so that you get that little bit of endorphins from having completed a portion of your project? Or you do the hardest part first, the one that's going to take the longest, and then it's like a fireworks show. You get all the endorphin rushes at the end when you're done, because all the easy bits fall into place quickly, one after another, at the very end of the project. I feel like I went a little heavy there and did a little further out than I wanted to. Oh well. I think in general, when I'm working on a project, I try to, I know, because I know I am bad at time management, I try to come up with a rough schedule. Like with this Bellacore, I was like, I know the wings are going to take a while, so I'm going to dedicate a week to wings. And I'll dedicate a week to the base. And a week to the main body. In the case of this Bellacore, I really just sort of went in the order in which it is in the instruction book. The base is the first piece of the instruction book, so I built the base first. Then the body, then the wings. But as we've just seen, when tackling a piece of the project, in this case these fingers, I think I tend to take the most difficult piece first, because I know once I'm done with that, everything else is going to go a little faster and easier. However, there's something to be said for doing the groundwork first, the easier, smaller pieces, because those pieces are going to give you, in a project like this, that's a painting project, they're going to give you an idea of where you're going with the project and what you need to be able to do. Like, you'll pick up skills doing those groundwork pieces that will be useful when you get to the more in-depth, difficult pieces. So like if I was doing a big 40k army, like one of the start collecting boxes, I definitely would do the smallest pieces first, and then move on to the more complicated, larger pieces later in the build, using the lessons learned from the smaller pieces. Definitely more time consuming than I would like, but that's what happens when you're trying to do something that requires a little bit of precision. Sort of bogs you down. Okay. Slow progress, but it's progress. Figure tomorrow work on painting those chains and then attaching them. My biggest concern with this model right now is that I won't get enough of a seal with the glue when I glue these wings onto the back of Bellicor. Because I did not, when I was priming Bellicor, mask the contact points for the wings. If I had done that, I would not be concerned about it at all, because it's quite a large contact point with a lot of sort of texture in it, which means it should take the glue quite well, or would take the glue quite well if there wasn't primer on the model. But the primer is going to interfere with the seal of the glue when I glue these wings onto the back of the figure itself. So I'm concerned about that. Obviously, we'll see when I get to that crucial moment, which is coming up. I'd like to be able to do it today, where I actually glue these wings onto Bellicor's back. And then we'll get a sense for the whole figure for the first time. The expanse of the wings behind the body. I've tried to sort of hold them in place to get an idea of what it'll look like. But once we actually glue them on, that's going to give us a good sense of what he's going to look like in the final run. I can do washes on the backs of the wings very easily once they're attached, so I'm not worried about washes back here. But I need to do a wash on the front of the other wing before I can glue it onto Bellicor. Okay. Got half an hour. Okay. So it's taken me maybe 20 minutes to paint these fingers. It's very time consuming. Oops. I haven't done that arm yet, but I'm going to do that with a broader brush, so it should go a little bit faster.
Fight for your values and fight for your friends. Fight through this blight, find the light at the end. Through the age of the dragon, the people will talk of the day they were saved by a hero named Hawk.
I just keep underestimating what an enormous project these wings are. They're so vast. There's just more surface area on these wings than anything else I have painted aside from some terrain. And you may recall how long it took me to do some of the Warcry terrain that I was working on. There's some I still have not finished. Wings bigger on the inside. Yes, indeed. But I'm certainly glad I did not attach these to Bellicor prior to doing this, because I think this would be a lot harder to do. I had a whole miniature dangling off of these as I'm doing this. And it would put a lot of strain on that connection that I'm already worried about. This is the last of the fingers on this wing. I still have the other whole wing to go. And I haven't done the arm or the hand here. Let's do, when I'm done with this, the rings that are holding on the chains. Like I said, they're pierced through here. So let's do those, and then let's do the one long peculiar talon that has some wing material attached to it. So for those, I'm going to need my deck tan paint. think I might not be attaching the wings today. We're close. We're very, very close. But I think we just might not be there. That's fine. Still got tomorrow is Thursday, or is Wednesday. Then we've got Thursday. And then we've got finishing Friday. And Amanda says, I could do a little painting on stream during the marathon. She's right, I could do a little painting on stream during the marathon itself. Extra Life chat. It's here. According to my tracker, 4 days left. 4 days. So I guess tomorrow is probably going to be the day that I attach these wings to Bellicor. I was hoping it would be today, but that has not come to pass. So tomorrow might be the end of the build process for Bellicor. It's been a long month. Long, productive month full of painting. Is that all rings? Nope. Couple more. Okay. And then this long talon here. Okay. And then we'll work on the back of the other wing. Oh, I have to do this arm. That's going to be a process. Washes will help a lot in a lot of these areas. Excellent. Gonna switch brushes. It's taken me about an hour to do the fingers on the back of this wing. So let's just think about that. For tomorrow. Because tomorrow we're going to do the fingers on the back of the other wing. And then, once we're done with that, we can attach the other wing to Bellicor. Suppose I could glue this wing on. Seems silly to have one wing on the model and not the other. Yeesh. Cat hair. Where'd that come from? I might, while I'm at work today, buy myself some new brushes. Because I've gotten a lot of use out of these brushes, but they're beginning to lose their tips. Look at this one, it's beginning to look a little mashed up at the end there. Remember, there's these sort of horn bits coming through the scales here. And I'm going to be painting brown. I like that Bellicor has these different textures to him. He's not all smooth-skinned. He's got these scaly bits. He's got these vascular bits in his muscles. Gives him some variety. Gives him some personality. Alright, so I believe we're just about done with the base coat on the back of this wing. Got all the fingers, got the arm, got the talons, got the rings, obviously got all the space. Still needs a wash to really help, and then a little bit of edging and dry brushing to finish it off. But for the most part, let's do these little toothy, horny bits, and then we'll say, ooh, I painted too much. We'll say we're done. With the base coat on the back of one wing. So this wing is approaching completion. There's the front of the wing with washes and such. It's looking pretty good. It still needs its chains, obviously. And then the back of the wing, which we've just been working on now. Very, very, very close to completion. Oops. I missed some bits in the hand here. Gonna get a little brown paint out. Paint those scaly bits. Using flat earth. with a brown wash as well, so these will get a little bit more color to them. There. Lovely. Well, let's do some washes on the other wing, and we'll call it a day for today. And then Amanda and I are going to go out and vote, have some sort of lunch, and I have to go to work. She's taking the day off because she got both her flu shot and her COVID booster shot yesterday, and she's definitely feeling a little achy and under the weather. But yes, some washes, and then we will call this a day. So we're doing a blue wash. We're doing some Reichling Flesh Shade, and we're doing a brown wash. So Flesh Shade first, because there's not a lot of it. We're just doing that to sort of highlight the veins in the musculature here, just to give them a little bit of contrast and make them look more interesting. This is the Flesh Shade washing here. And then we'll actually be doing a blue wash over that. But it makes these look sort of pop a little bit. We'll start in on the blue wash. It's actually a little afternoon already. Where does the time go? It's frankly astonishing to me how quickly time passes. darken this down a bit, and B, give it a little more texture. And that's what washes are really good for, is adding texture. But this is not a long or involved process. I'm not going for extreme precision here. So it shouldn't hopefully take more than a couple of minutes to get this done on the entire. I mean, I'm not doing it on the majority of the wing, I'm just doing it on the fleshy bits. Oops. There's some more of those veins. Maybe while Amanda and I are out voting, we'll go grab something to eat. Get some pizza or something. Well, every day, chat, we're getting a little bit closer to done on this model. I know I didn't get to do the thing that I really wanted to do today. I didn't get to glue these onto the body, but we still have a little bit of work to do on the back of this wing, just in terms of getting that base coat done on these fingers. It's a little extra work, but I don't want to do that after gluing this to the body, because it's going to make that significantly harder to do those edges to the fingers and stuff. So better to do things in order. Better to finish getting that base coat on the back of this wing, and then we'll glue it on. And then we'll work on those chains and glue them on. And then, chat, we're just in final details. We're getting close to having a completed model going on here. And I'm pretty proud of that. I could probably easily spend another week doing details on this model, because there's so much of it and so many details I want to do. But realistically, I can at least be pretty proud of the final product as it currently stands. If I ever do another Bellacore, I'll budget 2 months for it instead of 1 month. I want to finish these fingers and do the brown wash on the scaly bits of the arm and on the talons. And then we're going to call it a day for today, Chad. Going kind of liberal with the wash, but that's because I want to really get these. There are some highlights in here that I want to catch. Some texture in the sculpt. I'm so glad I did all of this before gluing those chains on. Could not have done a lot of this with the chains on the model. Just imagine how much of this would be obscured by the chains. This is the last finger to put a wash on. Almost done with the blue wash. I feel like I ended up doing a lot of work today, but I don't have a lot to show for it, which is, I don't know. Some days are just like that. It's a lot of work to not get that much detail in. But that's okay. Alright, that is it for the blue wash on the underside of this wing. Now on to the brown wash. Oh, wait, I forgot the hooks. Those got a blue wash. There we go. Okay, now it's brown wash time. Not much to do, just a little bit of scaly flesh here. Looks like I didn't get some of these little scales with the brown. There. Oh, one right here. Okay. Nope, almost painted. Painted my coffee. So close, chat. So close. So as I approach the end of another broadcast day with these last couple of talons and the last little patch of brown scaly skin, as always, I want to say thank you so much to everybody who joined me today. It is a major motivator to me to know that you are watching and participating. It helps me to get myself together and get myself painting. And of course, thank you to everybody who has donated to my ExtraLife fundraiser and to Battleground Games and Hobbies' ExtraLife fundraiser. There are many prizes listed. Amanda will be painting 3 D&D minis for winners. So if you have a D&D mini that is unpainted that you wish could be very nicely painted, you can have Amanda work on that. That is a $5 donation to ExtraLife through the Battleground Games and Hobbies page. We have Battleground regular Allison, who is a indie comic book artist, will be doing your OC on a comic book cover. And that's also a $5 donation to potentially get your original character or D&D character on a comic book cover. Not for an actual comic book, but in the style of a comic book cover. We've got Bellicor here. We've got the Kaldheim poster colored in. That is a really gorgeous piece of art as well. If you go into... Oh, there's the Bigger on the Inside scarf. Is available through the Battleground ExtraLife donation page. And if you go into the store, Abington regular Kurt has made a couple of custom-made wooden ballpoint pens. Basically, he uses a lathe, I guess, to custom make these ballpoint pens, to carve them out. There's a African darkwood one, and there's a purple heartwood one. They're really cool. I put them... They're a in-store donation only item, mostly because you really have to see them in person to appreciate them. So if you go into the store, you can take a look at those pens, see them for yourself, and it will probably make you want to donate for potentially winning one of those, because they're very, very cool. Alright. Chat, I am going to call this a day. Thank you so much for being here, as always. I hope everybody is going to have a wonderful afternoon, and I will see you all tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Eastern, when we will be trying to get the last little bits of the backs of these wings done. Get a base coat and a wash on those so that we can glue them onto the Be'lakor figure. Let's try to clean this up there. I could keep going, but I'm not going to. I have to call it at some point, and this is where I'm going to call it for today. So, thank you so much for being here, everybody. I hope everybody has a wonderful afternoon. Be excellent to each other, and enjoy whatever art it is you choose to do. I'll see you again soon. Bye, everybody.